Today, we're going to dive into a really fascinating ancient text, one that gives some pretty radical advice about who or what we actually are. It's a conversation between the Buddha and his son that seriously challenges our most basic ideas about the self. So, let's get into it.
Just imagine for a second. You're with someone you look up to more than anyone, a parent, a teacher, a mentor, and they look at you and say something that just pulls the rug out from under your entire reality. Well, that's pretty much what happened to a young man named Rāhula, who just so happened to be the Buddha's son. And that very conversation is what we're going to unpack today.
So get this. They're just walking, going to collect alms for the day, and the Buddha turns to his son and gives him this jaw-dropping piece of advice. He tells him to look at his own physical body, his form, and to see it with this totally new perspective. This isn't mine. I am not this. This is not myself. He's basically telling his own son to stop identifying with his body. And Rāhula is just floored. You could almost feel the shock in his question. He asks, "Wait, you mean only my body?" And the Buddha's answer is a clear no. He means everything, your feelings, your perceptions, your thoughts, the whole shebang. And this hits Rāhula so hard that he can't even continue with his day. He just turns around, sits down under a tree, and starts to really think about what his father just told him. And that brings us to the first major part of this teaching. Because later, when Rāhula asks for a deeper explanation, the Buddha doesn't offer him some vague, comforting words. No, he does something else entirely. He gives him what feels like an almost scientific, clinical breakdown of what we're all made of. And it all comes down to 5 basic elements. So first up is the earth element. And we're not talking about some abstract philosophical concept here. The teaching gets super specific, even kind of visceral. It's your hair, your skin, your nails, your bones, all the hard, solid stuff. The instruction is to look at these parts and see them for what they are, just the earth element, temporarily inside your body.
Next, he moves on to the water element. And again, the details are pretty unflinching. We're talking about blood, sweat, tears, saliva, even things like bile and pus, all the liquid stuff that flows through us. The practice is to observe these fluids not as my blood or my tears, but simply as the water element doing its thing.
And then there's the fire element. This is all about heat and energy. You know, the warmth in your body, the fever you get when you're sick, and that internal fire that digests your food and, well, ages you. It's just another natural process that he's asking Rāhula and us to see impersonally, without attachment. After fire comes the air element. This is everything that moves. The most obvious, of course, is our breath, the air coming in and the air going out. But it also includes all those subtler internal movements, the winds in our stomach or limbs. Okay, and this last one, the space element, is where things get really interesting. It might seem a bit odd, but it's totally essential. It's the empty spaces within us, our nostrils, our ear canals, our mouth, the very space inside our stomach. The teaching says that even the emptiness inside you isn't you. It's just space.
And here it is, the core of the practice. This is the refrain you're meant to apply to every single one of those elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. You see them as these impersonal, natural forces. And when you can really see that, when you truly get it, the mind can finally become disentangled and let go of its tight grip on me and mine.
So you might be thinking, okay, great, I'm just a walking collection of parts. Now what? Well, this is where the teaching shifts from a cold analysis to a powerful, beautiful metaphor for how to live. After breaking the elements down, the Buddha tells Rāhula to start acting like them. This is where the real transformation begins. He says, Rāhula, meditate like the earth. I mean, just think about that. People throw all sorts of stuff on the earth, right? Beautiful flowers, but also disgusting garbage. And the earth, it just takes it. It doesn't get repulsed or excited. The idea is to build a mind that's just as stable. A mind so grounded that when good things happen or bad things happen, it stays steady and undisturbed.
And it's the exact same idea for water and fire. You know, water will wash anything you put in it, clean or dirty, no judgment. And fire, it'll burn anything, pure or impure, without any sense of disgust. The goal is a mind that can deal with all of life's messiness, the good, the bad, the really ugly, without getting horrified or repelled by it.
And the last two metaphors, wind and space, really point to the ultimate freedom. The wind just blows on everything without picking and choosing. And space, well, space isn't stuck anywhere, is it? It just is. That's the kind of mind we're aiming for, one that's totally free, unattached, and not fixed on any one thing.
Now, that's some pretty profound philosophy. But Rāhula is a practical guy. He's basically like, okay, Dad, I get it, but how? What do I actually do to get a mind like that? And in response, the Buddha gives him one of the most famous and powerful meditation practices there is, mindfulness of breathing, all broken down into 4 clear steps.
So, you start with the body. It sounds simple, but it's not always easy. You just pay attention to your breath. Is it long or short? Is it heavy or light? You're just anchoring your attention in the raw physical feeling of the body breathing. And bit by bit, you learn to calm the body's restlessness.
So once you're grounded in the body, your awareness expands to include feelings. We're talking about those basic tones of experience. Is this pleasant, unpleasant, or just neutral? The key is you're not trying to create feelings like bliss or chase them away. You're just noticing them as they come and go with the breath, training the mind not to get swept away by every little wave of emotion.
From feelings, you go even deeper to the state of the mind itself. You start to observe its weather patterns. Is my mind scattered right now? Is it calm? Is it open or closed? And here the practice gets a little more active. You learn how to gently encourage a sad mind, or how to focus a scattered mind into a state of deep concentration, known as samadhi. And ultimately, with each breath, you practice setting the mind free.
And this final stage, this is the real payoff. You use the focused awareness you've built to look directly at the nature of reality itself. Through the breath, you see impermanence, not as a theory, but as a direct experience. You watch the breath arise, hang around for a second, and then vanish. Every single exhale becomes a little micro-lesson in the art of letting go.
So, where does all this lead? You've deconstructed yourself into elements. You've practiced meditating like the earth and the wind. You've followed your breath. What's the ultimate point? The conclusion to all this work is actually very simple, but incredibly powerful.
This is the final line of the teaching, and it's really something. The ultimate result is an awareness that is so stable, so profound, that nothing can shake it, not even death itself. That final transition, the very last breath, is no longer some terrifying unknown event. It's simply known, experienced, with the same clear awareness as any other breath.
And so, this ancient advice from a father to a son really becomes a question for all of us, doesn't it? Could you take this practice into your own life? What might happen if you really started to look at your own experience, this body, these feelings, these thoughts, and practice seeing them with that simple, radical, and liberating understanding? This is not mine, I am not this is not myself.